one thing that makes you unique is not only doing the legal and the tax, you're also using infinite banking.
Yeah.
So you, I love to hear, like, how did you get exposed to it in the first place?
So, I first heard about it a few years ago, kind of in passing, and I opened up a policy before going to law school, and I just kind of paid a little bit about it. My first job, actually, I was a life insurance agent, so I actually sold whole life for a little bit. Um, but not to digress, I had heard about it, never really discovered it until about October of last year. I came across Nash's book. Um, Also read What Would the Rockefellers Do, and a book by Caleb Williams,
Mhm.
and Asset. Um, Read that, started listening to podcasts, looked at my old whole life policy, and I'm like, wait a second, I've got cash built up here. Um, and so that really kind of got me into it. And then studied business pretty much, the past decade. And I've seen how the rich use debt, typically with stocks or real estate, but seeing that you could actually use whole life insurance as a tool, and leverage it at a lot more an effective manner, and not have as many restrictions.
Yeah, I find that fascinating. They actually had a policy. Rarely does somebody have a policy, A, that's whole life, and then B, that's got cash value and designed appropriately. So, whoever set that up, I don't know if you set it up for yourself, but kudos to them.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was just kind of, I set it up and forgot about it. Really, I just kind of paid 50 extra bucks a month into
Yeah.
it. It wasn't anything crazy, but yeah, it was built up.
What was it? What was it about IBC that originally caught your attention? You mentioned kind of the leverage piece or the debt piece, but was there anything else specifically?
It was the leverage piece for sure, and being able to have my money do two things at once. Typically, you look at these millionaires, billionaires who've got big companies like Tesla, Facebook. They've been able to leverage their stock portfolio, but for your everyday person, most people aren't able to do that until they get substantial assets. Here, you can leverage what you put in. Typically, there's just a little slower start, but
Mhm.
the cash value you've got, you can leverage it.
And we like to kind of talk about both sides. You've talked about some of the things you like about infinite banking. What are some things that you don't like about infinite banking? And feel free to be honest.
Yeah. Um, I think the biggest thing is there's a lot of misinformation out there about infinite banking
Mhm.
and whole life insurance in general, and comparing that to IULs and variable life insurance contracts. So I think there's a lot of bad information, and when you're trying to find resources, it's kind of hard to dig through what's good or what's not, especially when you've got Dave Ramsey, telling you whole life insurance is a scam. Um,
Yeah. So what are you, as you practicing it? And what are some things that you don't like about?
Yeah. Another downside, I think, is with these policies, you have to pay the premium each year versus where you're thinking about maybe a Roth IRA or something like that. You might not have to make a payment every single year. Another downside is that cash value and the cash you put up front those first couple of years, you're not able to use all of that. So it takes some time and a
Mhm.
little bit of discipline to wait for it to be fully efficient. And sometimes, especially in this day and age, people want everything right now. So I think that time limitation and not having full access to it is a downside. But if you use a retirement account, you're not able to use it immediately anyways. But I think that's a big hurdle that people have to get over.
Well said, Anthony. If there's anybody out there that is maybe on the fence and listening to this conversation, and they're trying to decide whether they want to do IBC or not, is there anything that you'd share with them?
Yeah, I'd say go read Nelson Nash's book first off, and then do the math. One thing that I did really was put the policies up, look at loan rates and versus using it to invest and paying it back. Something I was surprised at, that you can make money paying 5% while earning 4% over a long period of time. And the math speaks for itself, even though it doesn't seem like it on its face.
Now, Anthony, do you mind sharing how you've used your policy?
Yeah. So I've done it a few different ways. First, I just bought a house in East Texas with my brother that right now we're living in it when I go down for my other practice, but we plan on renting that out. I've used it when I need to pay somebody in the business and cash flow is a little bit tight. I've also used it trading options, so selling puts and covered calls. Right now, I'm looking at buying another rental property and also doing some hard money lending.
You want to see the entire episode? Click here. If you want to learn how investors use infinite banking to increase their returns and lower their taxes, click here. If you want to see if infinite banking is for you and you have some questions, hop on a discovery call with us and one of our coaches. The link for that will be in the description.